some Metal Gear today. I don't know what you're talking about, this Mega Man 2 stuff. You know, that intro, that looked like Metal Gear to me.
I was not paying attention. I was trying to keep up with how the race is actually going to begin.
Well, it looks like Flashman and Quickman, just like last time around. So, looks like we're going to have both runners starting on the same stages that they used in Game 1 of this match. Now, while we have a quick second here, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you change your strategy in any way, knowing that you're either up a game or down a game when it's, you know, Game 2, and possibly go and try to choose a different set of stages to go through?
What was the question again?
If you're either up a game or down a game, do you consider changing your strategy in the way of how you want to approach these 8 stages at the beginning of the game?
Well, it depends. I would probably say it would be more behest you to just keep your normal head and just continue to go at the pace that you want to be. Trying to change what you do now can possibly hurt you, more or less.
Alright, well, we have MadMegaX here getting Airman, and he doesn't seem to be too thrilled about this, just kind of sitting down in the middle, turning his back, and MadMegaX gets rid of him in quick fashion here. Bubbleman is at the end of Flashman's stage. Now, with both of them finishing off their boss, we get MadMega picking up item 1. And let's see if Talentless picks up an item here as well. Oh, unfortunate. But he'll be getting his item 1 soon enough, as he's heading off to Flashman, as both runners starting with Flashman and Quickman yet again in inverse order.
Yep, to the, well, quote-unquote easiest stages, or at least the most, well, I will probably say they're the most convenient stages, because you can get some items early, particularly at least one energy tank along the way.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you get you know, a problematic boss at the end of the level. You have an E-tank. Well, generally speaking, I guess there's definitely a couple things that could get in the way to stop you from picking up the E-tank for whatever reason, but you know, having an E-tank should give you enough to get through that first boss that happens to be at the end of either the Quick or Flashman stages, if you're fortunate enough to be able to pick up that E-tank.
Well, at the very least, the enemies that are along the way from both stages are relatively simple. No high energy, high damage enemies along the way, so their traversal through their stages are pretty smooth.
Look like Talentless pulling off a swag little moonwalk dance going into the boss room here and heading up against Airman, as MadMegaX is about to take on Bubbleman.
Sad to say, these are my first time seeing the bosses over here. I was trying to get things settled.
Oh no, Bubbleman showing how much of a troll he actually is, because you have to be on the same level as Bubbleman to trigger him moving upward, and that's almost going to guarantee you taking damage when you're on these uneven fields like they are right now.
Not necessarily. MadMega could have went to the other side and fired from there. It probably would take a little bit of time, but it would have been safer, and you still wouldn't gotten the hit anyway. But if you want to go fast, you probably want to just try to do those damage boosting, try to hit Bubbleman at that corner.
Yeah, I think I agree with just kind of taking the damage there, because it is a speed run. You definitely want to go fast. Ooh, Talentless taking a big chunk of damage, hitting the aftermath of an explosion on one of the metal crushers. And we're being treated to the Wily stage music that I think a lot of people rate very highly here. And I'm going to have to agree with them.
Yeah, different stroke for different folk. but anyway, Talentless's run through Airman stage is actually running just as smooth as ever. And Mad Mega trying to use the item 1 to do the bubble zip with item 1, but looked like it was pretty useless. I'm gonna assume it was static. I just caught it right off the corner of my eye.
I was surprised he didn't try to set it up without. And these Metroids are having absolutely none of that, Buster Shot madness, just getting rejected there. So this is going to be, at least the Sniper Joes are going down, and it looks like one, possibly, maybe 2 shots.
Heatman being Buster Soft weak and moving somewhat normalish. So it shouldn't be too much of a trouble, but Talentless is getting a little bit smacked around, but still manages to defeat Heatman.
Oh, this is a pretty rough enemy setup here for Mad Mega with the frog dispensers. And that last one being so high up, it actually tosses the frogs up off the top of the stage and ends up being almost completely harmless.
Talentless finding item 3 in Airman stage and going to the same stage that Mad Mega's at right now, where he fights a Woodman with an accelerated leaf shield. One of the AI quirks that Woodman can have is that he can basically get what close to a false start on the leaf shield, and it fires right before it's actually supposed to trigger to.
Now that's not to be confused with in the last seed where the leaf shield was moving very quickly. This is more related toward the timing of when he shoots the shield, correct?
Yeah, when the leaf shield actually goes to full speed, that's the actual moment when the leaf shield is supposed to fire.
Alright, we're getting more Wily music here because it looks like Talentless's screen is going a little Mr. Destructoid, and you made the mistake of putting me in the in charge of the controls here, so you're just gonna have to live with it. We'll probably switch back once one of the runners get to the Wily stage first. I'll switch the audio. Oh no, it looks like that's going to be an unfortunate death there for MadMegaX. As Talentless gets through the Bubble Man stage.
Once again, going to the same stages that they already been to. Mad Mega just got unlucky with a bird spawn, and the egg just happened to be right where it was going to land.
Oh no, it looks like he's taking a second death here as well.
So at this point, Talentless is not having too much trouble with Mudman, and he's at least one Robot Master thanks to a slightly cleaner play, while Mad Mega is just struggling to make sense of the birds in Airman stage.
Yeah, at least it looks like he was able to get through most of the bird droppings here. Talentless is on to his 5th stage here, and I believe Mad Mega is on his 3rd stage still. This may be his 4th. I am not entirely sure, but I know for certain Talentless is at least one full stage ahead at this point.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that this is his 4th Robot Master right now that Mad Mega's traversing right in this moment. Talentless is doing Woodman as his 5th Robot Master stage. So let's see, what are the frienders, our friendly hot dogs, going to be weak to? And they're going to be weak to Charge Heat. Charge Heat's a pretty good weakness for these hot dogs. They're definitely one of the main go-tos that I try to use in trying to get by the hot dogs pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Mad Mega is dealing with some Sky Crabs, one of my least favorite enemies in the entire randomizer.
Yeah, this Airman stage is really not all that friendly. You just kind of gotta grin and bear it, I guess, and just try to soldier your way through it.
That's usually the case. Airman stage being one of the most treacherous stages in the randomizer with any given enemy set. Meanwhile, Mad Mega, trying to survive the Heatman fight, wisely decides to use the E-Tank. Whether he needs it or not, at least he has the safety and the assurance that he can defeat Heatman. And rest assured, when you use the E-Tank, you really didn't need it.
Yeah, definitely a better strategy to use the E-Tank when you have it there, because you lose maybe 2 seconds as opposed to having to go through, you know, the second half of the stage again, if not, you know, just the boss room and redoing that whole boss. That's going to cost you about 10 seconds.
So while Talentless fights Metal Man, Buster Weak Metal Man in Woodman's boss room, Mad Mega goes to Metal Stage, where we got some good old Mega Man 3 Game Boy Wily Marine Fortress music.
Now that's good Mega Man music knowledge there, I'll give you that. I was completely stumped as to what stage this was.
Stick with me, kid. You pretty much know about any and all your Mega Man music, Mega Man ROM hack music needs from here on out. But seriously, it seemed like indeed item 1 is static, so we're gonna have less opportunity for item 1 zips. Of course, Talentless still might try to do the Pixel Perfect Crash zip later on, but that's later on. Meanwhile, they're both going through the same metal stage. And don't be confused, Mad Mega might be ahead in the stage, but he's still at least 1 Robot Master behind Talentless.
Yeah, that difficulty in Airman for Mad Mega is definitely putting him behind in the scope of finishing all 8 Robot Masters.
In the meanwhile, we got a nasty set of enemies for the second half of the Metal Man stage. These drills, the moles. Wait, this is really sketchy.
Yeah, looks like he got there.
Weaving his way between 2 drills.
Damage from that crusher, though. I think that Mad Mega just made a pretty big mistake there by taking the 2 crusher hits.
Meanwhile, Talentless using Metal Blades and Metal Stage to make quick work of the moles and the crushers on his way to his next boss fight, which is Quickman. And Quickman is moving pretty fast and immune to the Metal Blades. Talentless decides to dig for a weapon weakness, only to find that he's also soft Buster weak.
Well, we talked about that in Game 1, where you just kind of forego the Buster sometimes, and the gambles that were paying off for him in Game 1 are kind of causing him to lose a couple seconds here and there with, you know, just kind of wasting time searching for item weaknesses.
Personally, for me, I will always try to at least check for Buster weakness first before choosing to dig for weapons. Because as we talked about before, there's just always the chance that you might be wasting your time digging through weapons when you could just check the Buster first and you could have just had your weakness right then and there. Meanwhile, Talentless is doing the Pixel Perfect item 1 zip that was a stationary item 1 and actually having much less trouble than he did in match 1.
Well, I may have seen him practicing that zip in between Game 1 and Game 2. You know, we may have to consult the referees to see if something like that is a legal tactic here, but I say that completely in jest, of course, but
of course. Meanwhile, Talentless is making short work of Crashman stage. MadMega is going through Woodman stage, about to fight his hot dogs, and using Metal Blades to go through and just rip him a new one. Talentless also decided to use item 3s to make his crash climb much more tolerable and faster, being that he got his item 3 much earlier. So overall, good item decision to have that available.
yeah, you don't have to manage your item energy here like you do in the Wily stages, so if you have it, use it.
Talentless on his way to his boss fight in Crash Room. And we got Flashman, let's see how he acts. And we got a pretty aggressive Flashman, but jumps really, really low. So, pretty funny acting Flash. Meanwhile, he decides to use the Metal Blaze to have them practically wall jump.
And just kind of pin him up against the wall there and bounce him off the wall repeatedly. Nice strategy to get rid of that boss, and I believe this will move him on to his 8th stage in Heatman.
It is worth noting that Talentless has all of the items he needs to actually make this stage fast. He has item 3 and item 2 as opposed to last time where he only had at least had item 1 and item 3. So he can pretty much do almost the full score. It's just that his item 1 is stationary, so he couldn't do the exclusive item 1 zip in this stage early on in this first portion of the stage.
And MadMega polishes off his 6th boss, so unfortunately he is a full stage behind at this point, plus a little bit as Talentless is... oh, the spring toys are keeping him off of the ledge there, making that a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. We might have a little issue with item energy with these spring toys jumping at him the way they are. Man, it looks like he pulled off the zip just fine.
Barely. He had 1 unit of item 3 left to make that zip possible, so he got a little bit lucky. Also, we got some Toxic Seahorse music. Pretty appropriate considering that our quote-unquote lava is pretty greenish. It's literal sewer territory. It's like toilet sewers or something.
Yeah, this looks like a Sewer Man, not Heat Man stage.
Unless you got some pretty molten... Well, nah, I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna keep it as clean as possible. Well, as clean as the palates allow it.
Are you trying to say there's some kind of hot garbage going on here?
I'm telling you, this stage is full of crap. Well, anyway, Talentless defeats our final Robot Master, and he's on his way to Wily 1. So with Talentless ahead, this time we actually get a jump on this. So, Dragon Colors time. Get him out, peoples. What's your color?
Alright, I'm going back to my Red Eyes Black Dragon, because if I'm going to be wrong, I'm going to be wrong in style.
Ooh, excuse me. But anyway, if you're gonna go back to your old ways, I'm gonna go back to my old ways. We were really close with the monochrome dragon with the gray dragon, but it didn't have full black and white colors. We're gonna see if we can get ourselves a monochrome dragon here.
Alright, MadMega is up against Crashman here in what is his 7th boss fight. He still has... let's see, what stage would he have left? I guess I'll find out once, be Crashman stage. Oh.
So yeah, it looked like Crashman was also was one of the 4 bust-a-week enemies. So that's a little bit of extra information that MadMega can use. Meanwhile, Talentless is just kind of struggling a little bit on Wally 1. He kind of taking a little bit of a beating. Anyway, MadMega starts his climb up on Crashman stage, about to find out the awful truth that if he hadn't found out before, the item ones are static, so no crash zipping right now.
Yeah, that's going to cause MadMega to lose a lot of time compared to Talentless, who was able to pull off that stationary item 1 zip in this particular stage. I think, you know, he's about to fall about a full stage and a half behind at this point, reaching the checkpoint in Crashman's stage, as Talentless is going to take on the dragon, and, well, neither of us.
So, what's your take? Puff the Magic Dragon or Barney the Flying Evil Dragon Boss?
I'm gonna go with Puff the Magic Dragon. I think we need, you know, the purple, you know, main body for it to be like a Barney the Evil Dinosaur.
Actually, that's not even Barney, that's Baby Bob. I should be ashamed for even recognizing something like that. Anyway, Talentless finds quick boomerangs for the Mega Dragon as he finishes off Wally 1.
You are taking me back to a very dark time of my teenage years when, you know, I was 18, 19 years old, and, you know, my sister was, you know, about 10 years behind me, and it was, you know, that sort of, you know, the things I kind of had to suffer through for my Saturday morning cartoons and everything else. Give me back my Voltron and Thundercats, please.
To be fair, I don't know where the hatred for Barney even came from to begin with. It just happened back then. It was a strange time in our lives.
I could probably tell you, but, you know, I think we've settled on this being a family show, so I don't think, I'm just gonna keep those feelings, repressed, as, Talentless seems to be, item checking and finding that the air shooter is gonna be our, crash block weakness for, this particular, seed here.
Childhood traumatic memories aside, Talentless is going through the rest of Wally 2 in a pretty fair pace, while MadMega just now starting Wally 1. Quite a ways behind. We're gonna pretty much just point the problem of MadMega's run, at least in this seed, pretty much points to Airman stage and the troubles he had there.
Well, I don't think it was only that. There was a death where I think he underestimated
how
much damage he was taking from the Metal Crushers, and tried to use one to damage boost, but you know, died because of it.
Yes. I almost forgot about that. Meanwhile, Talentless is struggling to find the weaknesses for the Picos, once again finding that quick boomerang is one of the main. I'm almost gonna safe to say that unless he might have tried charge heat, it's probably the three that are gonna be weak to this are probably gonna be metal, crash, and what we have now is quick boomerang.
I mean, to be honest with you, with how energy efficient quick boomerang is, I personally would just kind of say, all right, this is my item. I'm not gonna, run out of item energy unless something really goes wrong. And I'm just gonna kind of, settle in on that and, finish off the stage and move on to the next Wily stage, which is, for Talentless, going to be Wily 3 here.
Chat corrected me that I'm assuming that Talentless found air as a potential weakness, but it didn't serve an easy purpose. So air probably was a Pico weakness. Unless that was for the dragon, I didn't necessarily see the full weakness of the dragon either. So I'm just gonna say chat is correct, I'm wrong, and I'll just be happy with that result.
Well, we can always look at the sheet at the end of the game if you happen to remember to do it.
Anyway, Talentless going through Wily 3. There were Joe Max on the way, but compared to what he could be, that's really not one of the worst things that could be in your way in this stage. So with that in mind, Talentless is pretty much safely on his way to the Guts Tank.
Well, it's not, Oh no, MadMega taking another death from, the dragon there. I don't think he was actually aware of, how much, life he had there, as that is a difficult spot to see any of those meters.
Meanwhile, Talentless is digging through the weapon cycles and finding that Bubble is a good weakness for the Guts Tank, and he goes through Wily 3 with very little troubles. MadMega was trying to do some weapon farming for some item energy at the very least.
Well, I think he needed the item 1 energy to make sure he could get back across these platforms here. Our Snail and Spring Toy just kind of hanging out in the middle of the stage, and gravity doesn't seem to apply to them too well. And yes, public service announcement for those in chat. Hugging the dragon is bad for your health. Which is actually what MadMega may have accidentally done, is he knows the quick boomerang is the weakness for the dragon at this point. And that'll
pretty
be
good public service announcement. Put that on a bumper sticker.
Maybe we could go somewhere with that. Maybe, where can we go? Maybe try to market that a little bit,
Talon is getting one of the rougher enemy sets for this particular section of Wily 4. The Chanky Makers, if you try to damage boost off of them, they can do monster damage. And with them firing their Chankies at them, the fire tackles, you're not guaranteed safety while you're on the ladders. So Talentless wisely decides to just take the damage and go through the rest of the area, and he's finding himself out in a few screens, and a few enemies later he's gonna be up against Blue Beam again.
And now we have MadMega here in Wily 2 testing for crash wall weakness, and unfortunately starting from the back and working forward, and finding that the air shooter, much like what Talentless already knows, is the crash wall weakness. And it looks
Talentless
like
checking to see if Metal Blaze and Leaf Shield was able to destroy them from below. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So Talentless is going to be doing some more weakness digging.
Now, I don't know about the Leaf Shield. It looked like it actually clanked off the quick wall instead of, you know, being rejected by the Boo Beam laser pod.
Now, I'm fairly certain it did hit. Well, we're about to find out. Maybe it did clank off the wall. Let's see it again. Nope, I was right. It definitely wasn't it. So looks like Quick Boomerang's the metal blade of the Wily Boss sees this particular match.
Yeah, it looks like just about you know, just use Quick Boomerang and apply as needed, and watch as the boss HP disappears.
So Talentless continues on, beating Boo Beam on his way to the refights. Yet again, with a lead that practically says that it's basically his race to lose.
Yeah, he went in at 21:10 into the Wily stages, and he was actually faster this time around. So, you know, MadMega is going to have to find a lot of time and very quickly, as I think Talentless might actually finish quicker. Well, definitely at least on pace to finish quicker than the 39, almost 39 flat that he set in game 1.
I'm going to say he probably around 35, 36 pace maybe, which is pretty good time. But he still needs to complete the seed to make that a reality. Meanwhile, MadMega just having some slight Joe troubles.
Oh, now that's interesting. That Leaf Shield just kind of, sort of shoves off a little bit and then finally accelerates up to normal speed.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, as when I was talking about one of the main quirks for Woodman. He has the ability to do a false start and fire the Leaf Shield a little bit early before its scheduled time. And when it is its scheduled time, it winds up accelerating to its given randomized speed. In the meantime, MadMega's now doing his dig for the Gust Tank weakness, while Talentless is still plowing through Robot Masters left and right on his 7th robot refight.
And it looks like our Gutsdozer is done for on MadMegaX's side, as he found the bubble to be the weakness there. And Talentless is already on his 8th Robot Master in the refight sequence here. And making quick work, even though he does take a body shot from Airman. That large health pickup, all but offsetting the damage he takes there.
Nope. I was about to say we might have a Buster Immune Wily Machine, but apparently the game decided to make me a liar, and it is in the Buster Week.
It just seemed like it moved the hitbox up a little bit, and you had to hit the pod and not just a little bit below it, like now you seem to be able to get away with and have it register as a hit. But it looks like Talentless is on his way down to Victory Road here, and he's falling to the right. It doesn't look like he's interested in picking up any item energy and trying to go for a 35-minute, or he may, in a favorable circumstance here, be under 35 minutes for finishing this particular seed out.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really good time for a randomizer race. He's probably gonna hit somewhere around the lower end of 35. So this is actually a really good run by Talentless. As we get a purple and greenish alien.
And air is a negative, bubble is a negative.
Did I say purple? I meant pink. Well, he does have purple gills. Anyway, metal's the weakness and is highly spammable.
Oh, absolutely. Once you found that weakness, that's absolutely it. And we have Talentless finishing off the match here in Game 2 with a official SRL time of 35 minutes and 22 seconds. And the IRC is actually informing me that that is a personal best time by 8 seconds.
Trying to see if we can get Prodigy here for a post-race interview while we see MadMega continuing on his trek to Wally 4, about to fight his battle with the Booby.
And just not even trying to check for any kind of weakness with the Metal Blade or the Leaf Shield, and instead just going right at it. And well, we know it's not Air Shooter, it's not Leaf, it's not Bubble. There we go, you got it, it's the Quick Boomerang. And the way that the Quick Boomerang moves, he might be able to edge forward a little bit and then catch it on the downswing, but instead just opting to use the last shot of the Air Shooter to clear out the wall and finish up the stage. So we'll have MadMega going into his refights. And MadMega gonna start on the left and end on the right as finds Airman as his first adversary and taking it down.
Apparently we got Prodigy here for our post-race interview. How you feeling about your runs?
Well, I'm gonna separate them 1 and 2. Pretty bad about my first one. My first one was horrible, and I felt stressed out when I died the first time on the dragon, because I knew it was gonna fire that fireball and I still pause buffered, and yeah, it was really bad from my side. But you know, the second one, I think everything was fine. I got a pretty good time, so I'm satisfied.
Yeah, 4-minute improvement over you know, from Seed 1 to Seed 2, and I believe that last Seed is a personal best for you as well, isn't it?
No, my personal best is 33, but that's a private, yeah. No, probably SRO personal best.
Okay. So at least when you're running inside of the tournament races, it did pop up and say that it was a new personal best for the race time, at least. So I guess, you know, putting everybody on notice that you're capable of pulling 35-minute or better seed times here.
I was actually hoping for the second run to be 34, but I got slowed down by Wily 4, I guess, and the alien. I fished a lot, so yeah.
Now, I was pulling for you there. I definitely thought it was possible to get under 35 minutes there, but I guess just, you know, wasn't to be this time around. There's always next match, as you've earned your way into the final bracket redraw with this victory here.
Thanks. Keep in mind that both of the races, the items were static, so these times are pretty decent. I think MadMega is doing pretty well too.
Speaking of static item ones, you've been practicing a lot on that particular setup in Craftsman stage with the static item one. How long have you been practicing that?
Like only before I play the game. Like 2-3 minutes before you play the game to find that that queue that you need to search for, and that's it. If you find your queue before the game, it's gonna be no problem. But it's very old, so it's nothing new. I can't do Biggie setup with these items, sadly.
All right,
well, at least you were bold enough to try it.
Going up against the Wily machine. And it looks like he's found its Buster weak, and this should go pretty quickly.
Well, Creed, even if you don't find that pixel, you waste a couple of items, but it's worth it. Yeah, always.
That's debatable. Well, but that's just me.
Well, we got a minute or two here. Go ahead, fire it off. Debate. Have our little item one debate here. Is MadMega is going to take his walk of down victory lane here and take on the alien.
My second setup on the game, game 2, was really fast, so it was really worth doing that from first try going on. But my first game, I got a bad spawn, so I fall down, died, and do it again. So it's probably loss of time. Yeah.
I'm just kind of questioning how much time you actually gain in comparison. Well, then again, it's probably going to depend on what enemy set that you get. Because, I mean, of course, you naturally don't want to deal with lag frogs. You don't want to deal with shrimp. You don't want to deal with bunnies. So any kind of means to skip over them, you pretty much would try to go for it if you have the availability. But I don't know, maybe it's just stubbornness, because I really don't care to try for too many pixel perfect zips. Setting them up could be pretty much trial and error, be high risk, high reward.
Exactly, but even if you got lag frogs and stuff, you can clear out and just try. In general, if you fail and you're not sure, yeah, I agree, it's a big waste of time. Just don't do it.
In the meanwhile, MadMega finishes his run with an official SRL time of 47 minutes 48 seconds. Wait, I'm not reading that.
Minutes and 11 seconds.
It's 42 minutes and 11 seconds. What the crap am I reading?
You were looking at their previous personal best time being shown, which was 47 minutes and 48 seconds.
I am the dumb.
If I agree, does Circle get the square? I guess that's a little too old of a reference there. I was kind of hoping that would work. Oh well. Alright, so talk to me here a little bit, Prodigy. Are there any particular sets of enemies that would stop you from trying to pull off that particular zip in the crash room?
Yes, there is. Double spawn shrimps make this very tough to do, and one of the other ones is I think fan guys that you're gonna lose a lot of time on. If you gotta clean the whole room out of fan guys, just don't do it. Just probably go. Because fan guys, if you see them there, they're gonna be on the top screens. You're gonna have to use flash to kind of complete the zip. It's really not worth doing if you have fan guys there.
All right. Let's see. Now that MadMegaX is finished up, are we gonna try to pull him in as well?
Yeah, I was just trying to get the confirmation from him. Well, he's already in. He can just come in whenever he feels like it.
So, are there any particular opponents you're looking forward to going up against in the final bracket stage.
Was that for me?
Yes.
I desperately wanna face against Mega Cow because he's my training buddy, and I love him. He's such a chill dude, and it's gonna be a pleasure, not only a challenge, but a pleasure to play with him. So yeah.
Well, while we got that answer, we're introducing Mad Mega into the Discord. How you feeling about your runs?
I definitely feel like I could have done better, but I don't know that even if I would have been able to beat Prodigy there. So definitely a heck of a pair of runs to him. So good job. Definitely not sure I could have beaten him even on my best day.
Thank you for your kind words, Mister.
So about those seeds, how about going through them? What was it about those two seeds that pretty much just tripped you up a little bit?
Definitely in the first seed, Wily 4's elevator sequence, I did that very, very poorly. I think that's something that I need to just practice some randomizers on, just that screens, those sets of screens specifically, because I did not do those very well. And then both runs I died to the dragon, which are deaths that should never happen, and those were both really, really bad, because those are especially punishing deaths too. Those are just, dumb mistakes. The elevator though, I definitely was not quite prepared to handle very well. So
well, in general, I don't regret nothing, but the fact that all the bosses were immune and I had to fish a lot was kind of a pain, and both boobeam fights I didn't like because I had to fish a lot on them too. But basically that's it. The stages were pretty chill, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I made a mistake in the boobeam fight, the first boobeam fight when they were weak to crash. If that particular seed let you shoot another crash bomb on screen, even if it wasn't, even if there was already one there. But I couldn't. I was trying to pause buffer my way through the shots, and because I missed the boo beam, it didn't eat the crash bomb. So I just sat there and took a shot that killed me like a dummy. So
yeah, that was
definitely a frustrating one.
The shots weren't connecting for me either. Some of them were off, a bit off, and they weren't doing damage, so I had to wait and use an E-tank, etc., etc.
Yeah, I got a little unlucky in that room. I let my health get way too low and just didn't play it as smart as I should have, and then that caused a lot more delay because then I had trouble with that elevator section. Got through it the first time or the second time, but then the next time around was a lot slower, that's for sure.
Well, it seems that y'all had some difficulties. Y'all had y'all's fair share of successes, but still, I'm going to congratulate Prodigy for winning both matches and having earned the right to go into the next set of reset brackets. Meanwhile, for you, Mad Mega, you still got a little bit of work to do as you wait for the winner of our losers round 1 match between Resisting Frame and Infinite Mystery. Is there any opponent that you would prefer to face between that matchup, Mad Mega?
No, whoever comes out of that, I need to practice a bit, and I'm gonna give him my best shot. That's all. I'm not super worried about it. In a randomizer, you can only worry about yourself. So that's what I'll do. I'll just spend more time on this and try to get better, so that I have a better performance next time around.
It's definitely a good way to look at things.
Is there any parting words? Because I think we're pretty much all set around here.
Well, sure. If someone I know is watching, and the guys that know me and the guys I know are watching, thank you a lot. It's been so many years, and I don't know. I love you for keeping me playing these games so many years. Thank you, and to the production as well. Thank you, Creed and Freako, for commentating. And thank you, Mad Mega, for racing me.
Yes, thanks, Prodigy. Great runs. Appreciate the opportunity to play this. Thank you, Frico, Creed. Really appreciate your work on the commentary, and hope to see everybody again.
You got any parting words, Frico?
Well, thank you, Creed, for showing up kind of at the 11th hour, as I believe someone else was scheduled to do the commentary. You know, for whatever reason, they weren't able to, you know, follow through with that. Thank you both for Prodigy and MadMega for putting on a show that I was able to provide commentary for. Without either of you, I wouldn't be able to, you know, perform any of this commentary that I've been doing for a good chunk of this tournament.
I concur. Thank you, Frico, for being a monster on the commentary for the Mega Man 2 Rando side of things. Thank you, Talentless, Prodigy, MadMega, for giving us a good show. Of course, thank you for Speed Gaming for allowing this run to take place, this entire tournament to take place. Of course, Charlie Boy, our tournament administrator, for getting things set up for us to have a tournament to begin with. Duckfist for creating the randomizer for us to even have a game to have this tournament to begin with. SRL for being able to have our channels for our races for availability. Just pretty much, and thank you, kind chatters, viewers, all those that are around to watch us. Without you, we wouldn't be able to have as much of a good time as we have right now.
Yeah, we see you, Charlie Boy. I know you're creeping around in the chat there watching this match. You know, you definitely have a thankless job, as you're doing a lot of things behind the scenes that I think nobody really truly understands how difficult it is to organize a tournament like this.
Yeah, but that's why we're here. We're here to help out and try to get things into some kind of stability, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to the next match that I'm going to provide commentary on, and I think at this point we're ready to shut it down here, aren't we?
Well put, well put. Well, for Frico, this is LV Creed. Stay tuned for the next randomizer tournament whenever that is next scheduled. And for that, we're out. Take care, everyone.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.